When manifesting isn't working, it's not the technique. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I can't sleep. That's why I look tired. Woke up, it's about 3 in the morning right now. Um, Woke up thirsty, get some orange juice. But one of the things, like lately when I've been doing my videos, sometimes I focus on one thing that what's not working for us. But in general, this is more of just a general conversation. Some of the things I kind of think about, even for myself, when trying to manifest and really trying to manifest big things. Not trying to, manifest a ladder, manifest a penny, manifest a cup of coffee. All those things are great, and it kind of proves to us that manifesting is real. It proves to us the power that we have. It proves to us that when we set an intention, go inside our imagination, that we can attract it. Okay. The simple things sometimes can be very easy because lots of times we detach from the simple thing. We let go of it. In a sense, we don't care, and that's kind of why it comes to us. We would try to manifest a cup of coffee. Lots of times we don't care. It's simple. We detach from the outcome, and it ends up occurring. Or if you did Neville Goddard's ladder technique, the same thing that occurs is that I think the reason why Neville Goddard chose the ladder technique, really with the ladder technique, you can actually put anything in there, like the ladder. You can actually substitute the ladder for something else. That's why Neville Goddard said, like, if the ladder technique worked for you, you could have just as well manifested $1 million. The reason why he chose a ladder is because it's something that people can really detach from. You're not constantly thinking about. You're not trying to force it to happen. You detach from it, and it ends up happening in your real life. The only way the ladder technique don't work is because we want it to work. We grow attached to it, and when we grow attached to something, it's like an unhealthy attachment. So we, at that point, we're trying to kind of force it, trying to coerce it to happen. And remember, I mean, you try to force anything to happen, force negates from you. And with anything, you're trying to force the ladder technique to happen because you really want it to happen, or you're trying to force your goal to happen. You're trying to force an income to happen. Think about it this way for a second: is that if you like somebody and you want somebody to like you, you're not in a relationship yet, but you want somebody to like you. If you grow too attached, okay, to them, and that's all you think about, you kind of like, give up your hobbies. You think about them. You give up your hobbies so you can hang out. You're waiting at every second for them to text you. They can feel that energy. Okay, sooner or later, it happens pretty quick. They can feel that energy from you, or when they talk to you, they can pick up that energy from you, where it's kind of like you don't have a life outside of them, and they can feel that forcing energy. And what kind of happens in that situation is that they start to kind of back off. They start kind of backing away from you because they kind of feel that energy from you, that forcing energy from you. So the same thing happens, like, when we like another person. And these conversations like this one, this is kind of more of a general topic of kind of what's going on, is that it's not the manifesting technique. When we want something, we set an intention. Something's not working, it's not coming fast enough. And what we often do is that we blame the technique. And we blame the technique, the manifesting technique. Well, that technique don't work. Or we blame the person. Maybe it's Neville Goddard, maybe it's Napoleon Hill, maybe it's Thomas Troward, maybe Joseph Murphy. We blame them. We can also blame just outside circumstances. We can, blame it like on our life, our environment's bad, blah blah blah. But you kind of get my drift. We kind of blame something on the outside of us. We never kind of look on the inside. Okay, if manifesting isn't working, or it's difficult, or you seem like you're not getting what you want, you always have to look on the inside. And this is the raw truth here. It's really something that we're doing. You know what I mean? It's something that we're doing that's really kind of a bad habit, or it's a core belief deep down. We're not aware of it yet, but it's something that we're doing that's technically holding us back from manifesting. And it's really our job, it's my job too, to figure out what that is. Once we figure out what it is, lots of times um, manifesting will become very easy. Uh, and or what we want will actually come quicker to us. I mean, that's just, even in my own life, like like when I set an intention, sometimes I find like I'm kind of up and down a little bit because sometimes I set really huge intentions, really huge goals. Uh, go like being a multimillionaire. That's a huge flipping goal. Okay. Can that happen? Can it happen overnight? Yes, it can. Because our subconscious mind is very illogical. You know what I mean? It doesn't go by step one, step two, step three, step four, step five. It doesn't go by a logical sequence. It's very illogical. Okay. On the offset of that, there's also an incubation period. Okay, we don't know that incubation period. We don't know how long it's really going to take for something to manifest in our life. Okay, only thing we know is just to stay persistent with it. And that kind of brings up a kind of another thing also is that when things aren't working, we tend to kind of jump. Okay, we kind of jump from manifest a technique to manifest a technique, or we end up just jumping out of it altogether and say, okay, this stuff don't work. And then our unbelief even grows stronger and stronger, and we get worse and worse results. So the biggest thing is if you're jumping, immediate gratification, especially nowadays, like especially if you jump on YouTube, you're looking at videos, manifesting videos, and that's why a lot of my videos I don't title this way, manifest in 24 hours, manifest in 3 days, do this 3-day technique and manifest in 24 hours. I mean, do this tonight and tomorrow morning when you wake up, you'll have your goal, you have your intention. I mean, these are all fancy titles and they work. Lots of times they get views, but it just preaches immediate gratification. Okay. That's why I don't use a lot of these titles. That's why I don't do a lot of videos like that because there's on one side of me is, do I believe it can happen? Yes, 100%. But the other side of me is that when it doesn't happen for you, you tend to blame the technique, but it's not the technique. It's actually you. Okay. If I don't get what I want, it's actually me. I'm doing something. Okay. And it's always going to go back to this. Like I'm doing something. Okay, in my daily routine that's keeping it from me. Okay, what you want, you're doing something that's keeping it from you. I'm telling you that, and it's our job to figure out what that is. Okay, that's why lots of times in my videos, maybe you catch it a little bit. Sometimes I'm really wordy in my videos. I apologize, but lots of times that's all I always say. At some point, it's like the longer you do this stuff, the more you grow aware of yourself. More you start growing aware of your thoughts. More you start growing aware of your deeper beliefs that you have. It's just we have to pay attention to ourselves, okay? And you start catching yourself having like a deep negative belief, or you start catching yourself with just an embedded belief that will just come out of nowhere that you're think about, and you think to yourself, where did that come from? You know what I mean? And lots of times it stems from childhood. Most of our stuff stems from childhood that we just have deep beliefs about that basically keep kind of repels things from us or repels a certain lifestyle that we want from us, and we have to figure out what it is. That's kind of the aha moment we have to have. And I'm always kind of going through this, trying, lots of times for myself, I can be, very, like, I'm an overthinker, I'm an overanalyzer. That might be okay in business. That might be good in business at some point. Okay, it has its negatives in business, but when it comes down to manifesting, what ends up happening is that when you're overthinking and overanalyzing, your mind just never shuts off, and you tend to, when you overthink, overanalyze, you tend to get in that groove where you're kind of forcing something to happen. You also get in that groove of undecision, that you become indecisive, where you're not making a firm decision and just moving on from it. You're staying in that undecisive mode where you're constantly over analyzing something. You're constantly over analyzing a decision you need to make. You're constantly trying to think, well, if I do this, this could happen. If I do this, this could happen. You just keep on going back and forth. It's like you're on a teeter-totter and you're just going back and forth. Uh, I have all these notifications popping up on my phone. Sorry about that. I end up glancing at the notification and my mind just like shuts off and totally forget about what I'm talking about. That's the only thing about filming on a phone. You see the notifications constantly popping up on my phone. Uh, but but going back to what I was saying is it's like you're on a teeter totter making a decision. And remember, like, that's kind of like the step one, the most important when manifesting, is you have to be very decisive, very specific, very detailed on what you want. If you can't get past step one and you're very indecision, then that's a problem just right there. Right after, right off the get-go, you're kind of starting off very, very slow, because when you're not decisive, you're not making a decision, you're not making a real decision where you stick to it, you don't change your mind, you're going to stick to it until you get it. That's the type of decisions you have to make. And those are the type of decisions you have to get in the habit of making. And this is a continual work for me, because I tend to really fall back into being very over analytical, and of course that leads to indecision, where I'm not making a firm decision. And I kind of caught myself here, like I'm in Thailand, by the way. uh it's like 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning in Thailand. I think it's about in the afternoon in the States. But uh I was kind of doing a video on, I just bought like a bunch of stuff for my place in Thailand for the condo. And when I signed this 6-month lease, I've been here almost 6 months now. When I signed the 6-month lease, it wasn't really that much in a condo. And what people don't know about Thailand, when you rent condos in Thailand, that most condos, almost all of them, I don't want to say all, but most of them come furnished. Okay, which is kind of cool, because if you're moving from a different country or you're coming to visit, you're doing a long stay, uh, most of them will come furnished. It comes with everything. It comes with a refrigerator, a small kitchen, table, couches, a bed, mat. It comes furnished. And some can come really, really furnished. It really looks, the person who owns the condo really took the time to decorate it, especially if it's a luxury condo. Um, but oftentimes, what I find in condos in Thailand is they are furnished, but like the owner just put in very, very cheap stuff. They put in very random stuff, like things don't match. It's just random, or maybe it's random things that they had at home. Just like a whole bunch of different styles of glasses or dishes, or really old pots and pans, or like a cheap couch. And it's all good, and you're grateful for it. uh, but when I came to Thailand anyway, I just had the bare essentials in my condo. They had a couch, a bed, table, refrigerator, and no, nothing on the walls. The place is brand new, but nothing on the walls. Had a TV, and they have a little nook, kind of like a little nook place over here. They had a little mini sofa stuck over here in the corner. And it just got to a point where it was bothering me. Then early on, I kind of broke down and bought some stuff for the kitchen, and bought like a blender, rice cooker, bought like an ironing board. What else did I buy? I think then I bought like for the balcony. I bought like a table and chair set for the balcony because they didn't even have a table and chair set in the balcony. Because I was constantly thinking about it, and so I just went out and bought it. I actually did a video on it. Went out and bought it, and my mind just shut off. But what I found is that like this kind of created just kind of the room being very, very kind of blah, kind of boring, and nothing on the walls. Very, I don't have anything in here, and I didn't buy anything else for the room, and I was kind of stuck. I was kind of being indecisive a little bit because I was constantly thinking, struggling in my mind, where, well, I'm going to be here 6 months. I knew I was going to stay longer in Thailand, but I didn't know if I would stay in this room, stay in this condo. Maybe I'll move around, move places. So I wasn't too sure. And then I didn't want to, own all this stuff where I have to, lug it around with me. So then I kind of made a deal with myself where I would, if I re-signed the lease, if I stayed here, then I would buy stuff. So that basically kind of what happened. I re-signed the lease for a year, and then I thought, okay, now's the time to really go out and buy stuff. And so that's what I did the last couple of days. We went, picked out everything. Took a few days for them to deliver everything. And Thailand is great because like when you buy stuff that you have to put together yourself, when they actually deliver, they put it together for you, which is great because I think I ordered like 5 pieces of like furniture that I had to put together myself. But when they delivered, they put it together for me, which is kind of cool. I don't have to do it. But anyway, kind of like, long story for this. But anyway, and my place isn't totally decorated yet. I still need some decorations and stuff like that, some plants in here and stuff like that. But once we positioned everything, once we put everything together, positioned everything, I bought a couple lamps for the bedroom. I moved the mini sofa out of that nook place, put a desk in there so I can work. Just bringing in that stuff, okay? And even my girlfriend said something. I didn't even say nothing to her. Like once everything was decorated, we placed everything. All of a sudden, just out of the blue, she said, "Oh, our place seems like so much nicer now. It seems so much happier now. Like I feel more happier inside the place um, than before. When there's just nothing, it just seemed kind of like boring, or it kind of rubbed off on you where you felt kind of unhappy." And that's kind of how I was feeling too. It really kind of, when you have this nothing in here, it kind of makes you feel broke, honestly. And that's something that you have to pay attention to. Like when I started feeling that way, and I started pinpointing why am I feeling that way, and I pinpointed it to I'm not buying anything for my condo. You know what I mean? It just looks like it's decorated like a cheap hotel, meaning they got nothing in there. You know what I mean? And it kind of put me in a negative state, and it kind of put me in a state where that you don't have money. And those are subtle. Those are like subtle things that you have to pick up on, and you have to pick up on why is it there, and can you fix it? Most of the time, we can fix it. Sometimes it costs money. Sometimes it's us going out and buy something. Sometimes. Um, Sometimes it's an attitude adjustment. Sometimes we let our mind kind of go off on Negativeville a little bit, and we're not controlling what we're thinking about. But anyway, we have to pay attention to our feelings and our emotions and what we're thinking, why we're thinking that way, what's kind of the what's making us feel this way. Okay, what's making us think negative, what's making us think this way, and kind of pinpoint, get to the root cause, because that's really what's going to fix it. Get to the root cause. And that's kind of what I did. That's why I just woke up one day and I was like, no, we need to go to Index is a store here in Thailand, and just buy everything, just go get everything. And the day we went, they ended up running a bunch of sales anyway. And you buy one to get one free. You buy this over here, you get pots and pans free, stuff like that. And so that put the cost down as well. But but 100%, like once I decorated it, it just, my mood shifted. Okay, my mind got out of the gutter. When you look around, it's like, oh, it looks nice. I bought like a nice rug for the living room here. I'm sitting, and your mind just goes to that, and it lifts you, it puts you in a different vibration. And this is why it's so important. And some of you might argue, okay, and say, well, I don't have money just to go out and buy something. Okay. And sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not really true. Okay. Even if you if you have to replace your wardrobe, okay, your clothes. Okay, a lot of people get caught up. Well, I can't just go out and replace my whole world wardrobe. Okay, but the big but with that, you can buy one really, really, really nice outfit. Okay, maybe you like to wear suits. You can go out and buy one really nice suit, or you can go out and buy one really nice casual outfit. Okay, and you'll notice when you do that and you wear it, it increases your vibration. It puts you in a different state. It makes you feel successful. And those are the things that we have to pay attention to. That the more we can do that, well, it's a feeling. Remember, Neville Goddard, I do a lot of videos on Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard always preaches about the feeling state. You're producing a feeling state. A lot of times he's doing it inside his imagination, and his main thing is you're trying to produce a feeling state and fall asleep in that state. But also, throughout the whole day, our waking hours throughout the whole day is producing feeling states of being successful, feeling states of feeling grateful and abundant throughout the whole day. And that will make it easier at nighttime to produce a feeling state. Once you're used to doing it when you're awake and you're fully awake, okay, it will be easier for you to do it at nighttime. And try your best to drift off to sleep. That's kind of where people kind of struggle, is doing things at nighttime, drifting off to sleep, and not letting your mind drift into thinking about something else, or thinking about what you don't want to listen, or what you think about. You don't want to think about what you don't want to think about right before you go off to sleep. That's what I was trying to say. Um, but going back, but paying attention to even your energy states, like what's making you feel successful, what's making you feel down, what's making you feel um, negative. And a lot of the time for myself, like I can be like kind of stubborn a little bit, where, and what I mean by that, where, for example, I went 6 months without buying anything for the condo besides what I actually needed. I needed the rice cooker, so I finally bought a rice cooker. I needed a blender, so I finally bought a blender. I needed an iron, so I finally bought an iron. But if I didn't need it, I didn't buy it. So, when you get stubborn like that, and you stay in a certain state, and you're kind of looking around, and it's making your vibrations a little bit low. It's kind of sucking a little bit of energy out of you, rather than just go. It's not going to be the end of the world. You go and you spend, like in Thailand, I only spent maybe $500 to kind of go and buy everything. And it's not done yet. Now it's like little decorations, put a couple things on the walls and bring in some plants and stuff like that. But the major stuff's done. But just bringing in the major stuff, just almost between night and day, what the condo looks like. Got some like stuff over here for the owner, for my agent to kind of come pick up, because I don't want it. But other than that, the place is looking pretty fantastic. And and that kind of goes back to, again, kind of going back to our habits. What habits do you have? Okay, because we all have habits that keep us from from manifesting what we want. I mean, we have to figure out what that is. And each time, sometimes, even for myself, each time, sometimes it's different. Sometimes if I have a new intention, a new goal, what I want to manifest, sometimes something different pops up. Okay, sometimes, sorry about that. Sometimes I'll grow attached to a certain intention. Sometimes I don't. You know what I mean? Sometimes sometimes when stuff really works for me is when I didn't grow attached to it, or maybe I'm attached to it, but it doesn't really manifest in my life until I detach from it, until I finally just let it go, finally forget about it, and then that's when it comes in. Okay. And that kind of comes in with even like Navigator, when Navigator talks about living in the end, dwelling in the end. Dwelling in the end really means your intention. For example, if you want to be a millionaire, you live like a millionaire. Okay, what would your thoughts be? How would you be thinking right now if you had $1 million in the bank? Okay, what would you be doing right now if you had $1 million in the bank? How would you be carrying yourself right now if you had $1 million in the bank? Okay, would you have different friends? Would you hang out with different people? Would you hang out at different clubs or restaurants? What would you be doing? How would you be thinking? How would it make you feel? Okay, if you had $1 million in the bank? Those are the types of questions you got to ask yourself, because what you'll find is most of the time we can do most of it right now. It's not about the money. I can feel abundant right now. I can produce a feeling state right now that I have $1 million in the bank. Okay, might take some practice, but I can produce that feeling. Okay, I can carry myself right now like I have $1 million in the bank. Okay, I can go inside my imagination and you play pretend like you're a child and kind of see yourself. Pay attention to yourself when you go inside your imagination. I know it sounds crazy, but pay attention to yourself. Okay, if you want $1 million and you're drifting in your inside your imagination and you're seeing a millionaire lifestyle, how are you carrying yourself inside your imagination? Because I bet you this is that you're carrying yourself different inside your imagination than you do in your real life. And my point is this: when Neville Goddard talks about dwelling in the end, living in the end, is that you need to kind of act as if right now that you already have what you want. It's already done. Neville Goddard says once you set an intention, you go inside your imagination, you live in the end, you go straight to the end, and you become that person. You go straight to the end. So if you want to be a millionaire, you go straight to the end. You're a millionaire right now. So in your waking hours, in your 3D world, okay, you need to start carrying yourself like you have $1 million in the bank. You need to start thinking like you would if you had $1 million in the bank. Okay, you need to start slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. You need to start slowly becoming that person. That's how you make this. That's how you make these things work. Okay, that's how you make big intentions work. You need to become that person now, not wait for the money to show up in your bank. But what we end up doing, besides living in the end, dwelling in the end, becoming that person now, carrying ourselves right now like a millionaire in this example, what we end up doing is when we wake up, we start controlling the how. Okay, and what I mean by that, when we wake up, we start doing our old habits, but our old habits remind us that we don't have $1 million in the bank. Our old habits remind us that we're not a millionaire. You know what I mean? Our old habits would remind us that I'm not a multi-millionaire, Chad. I don't have millions and millions of dollars in the bank. So that's why things are kind of stuck a little bit, or stuck for you, or stuck for me, is because we still we still get up. All of us have habits. Okay, our whole daily life, once we wake up in the morning, is like a subconscious habit. Okay, we're kind of almost going through the motions throughout the whole day. We do the same thing. We almost have the same thoughts, the same habits, the same motions throughout the whole day. Okay, just like when you drive to work, you drive home. Lots of times, or most of the time, when we're driving to work or driving home, our mind drifts off. But yet somehow, listen to this, somehow I still make it home. Even though my mind drifts off on La La Land, I still make it home, or I still make it to work. And you still make it home, and you still make it to work, because we all do it. Our mind drifts off, and and we still make it to work. I mean, it's not like we're not new to driving. We've been driving for years. So when we're new to driving, you're so focused, you know what I mean? But once you've been doing it for a while, your mind just drifts off. But my point is that we're staying in our same old bad habits, and when we wake up, we're doing things that remind us that we don't have it yet, and we start thinking that way. Well, it didn't come to me today. Okay, I didn't become a millionaire today, and then we kind of go down that rabbit hole. Like, well, it doesn't work. When it's going to come? Besides living in the end, so we're kind of messing up living in the end, dwelling in the end. Okay, living in the end, dwelling in the end again means that you go straight to the end, you're already a millionaire. Period. Blank. That's it. Okay, you need to start acting upon it, becoming a millionaire, going inside your imagination, and really think about how would I be acting? What would I be doing if I had $1 million in the bank? How would that make me feel if I had $1 million in the bank? What type of activities and things I should be what would I be doing? My whole lifestyle, what would it be? Because you'll find that yes, I get that you're not going to be do every single thing in your lifestyle. You're not going to be just walk out and go and buy your dream car, dream house, and stuff like that. Yeah, I get that. I'm not trying to think extreme, but most of the time we can do most of the stuff. Okay, we can easily carry ourselves like a millionaire, okay, or what we think a millionaire, how a millionaire would carry themselves, or start reading books on it, how millionaires think, carry themselves, where they hang out, stuff like that, and you have similar interest, then you can kind of pick up things. But it's about slowly becoming that person now, because that's going to shift you. But what keeps us stuck in this example is that when we wake up, we stay with our same old bad habits we have. We do the same thing over and over and over. And I do this because that's why I'm talking about it. That's one thing I struggle with is what are my subconscious habits? And what I mean by that is what I mean, basically what habits do I have that I'm not aware of yet? I just do. I do without thinking. It's almost like I'm a robot. Okay. You know what I mean? I do without thinking, and I don't even realize I'm doing it, or don't even realize I'm thinking a certain way. And that's what we have to grow. That's kind of the whole conversation here. That's kind of what we have to become aware of, is that, and recently, even when I'm in Thailand, I'll give you another example. Like, let's say, besides the millionaire example, let's say, let's say my YouTube channel, if I want my YouTube channel to go viral, with Never Goddard, law of assumption is you go straight to the end. Your YouTube channel is already viral. You already have 1 million subs. You've had several videos that went viral already. So your whole channel's viral. But my old habits is I wake up, when I wake up, maybe I go make myself a coffee, sip on my coffee, give myself 10 minutes to wake up. Sometimes I go down to the pool. We have a really nice pool here. Sometimes I go down to the pool, chat with the guys a little bit and come back up. Sometimes I get up, make myself a coffee, and I'm in the mood to work, and I go straight to work. But no matter when I do it, no matter when I get on my laptop, the habit I was doing is right when I got on my laptop, I went straight to YouTube, straight to my YouTube studio, so I can see the stats of my channel, then look at my subscribers. You know what I mean? Then I would go over, bounce back over to my videos, and pull over and kind of see how many views I got. And all that did was remind me that, well, my channel's not viral. Then I'm still kind of working on that habit where I'm not going, that's the first thing I do is check YouTube stats and check this, because all it does is remind me that my channel's not viral. I'm letting it affect me. Okay. And it's, I work in IT. I do a lot of IT, SEO, building websites and stuff like that. And, it's, and we kind of learn this from corporations, always checking stats, running reports, seeing how things working, not working. And, sometimes when you work for a company or a corporation, a lot of times there's a lot of wasted things that we do. If you're an entrepreneur, most of the time you can cut out maybe like 80% a huge company would do. Because most of the time, you don't need to run reports every week. You don't need to look at stats every day. Maybe you look up stats maybe once a month just to kind of see how it's going and see how you can adjust. But you don't need to look at stats every day. It's a waste of time. Then it puts you in a negative state. And that's why I find even for myself is it just reminds me that I don't have. It just reminds me that my YouTube channel didn't go viral. And then I can feel myself become aware of it, and my mind goes straight to, well, I didn't go viral today. You know what I mean? Besides getting up and living the end, my YouTube channel is already viral. Like, how would I be acting if my YouTube channel was already viral? Okay, how would that make me feel? But what would I be doing? What type of actions would I be taking? And when I started kind of thinking this way, what I started learning was, well, if my channel is really viral now, even though maybe you don't have a YouTube channel, maybe you don't want to create a YouTube channel, but this applies to any goal, any intention you set. Is that is that when I started asking myself the right questions, okay, about a YouTube channel going viral, okay, if my YouTube channel is already viral, would I be waking up every day and checking my channel to see how many subscribers I have? Probably not. You know what I mean? Would I be waking up every day and checking to see how a video performed, how many views I got? Probably not. Okay, I probably would just be detached from it because it's already viral. It's already successful. I would be detached from it, detached from the outcome. I would let go of it because it's already successful. It's already happened. It's already occurred. So I'm not going to be attached to it. I mean, that's most of the time when we already have what we want. We've already grown detached from it. Um, that's how I'm going to behave. Okay. Yeah, I would care about my YouTube channel. Or maybe a habit would be I would get up, check my comments, and I want to reply to the comments because of my whole premise here with YouTube is to build a community. So that's why I answer all the comments because I want to build a community, and that's what I want. So maybe when my channel's viral, that's a habit I would have. I would still get up, check my comments, but I don't need to check my stats. Because why? Because my channel's already successful. And so it really kind of made me think like like we all of us and myself, we stay in these bad habits that just remind us that we don't have. And these bad habits, it's almost like the law of karma. Okay. The law of karma is that we're in this negative cycle, and we can stay in this negative cycle for weeks, for months, for years. Most of us stay in the law of karma for years. We stay in this negative cycle of life. The same thing happens over and over and over and over again to us, but for years. Sometimes the whole life, the same things just keeps on happening to us, and we don't wonder why, because it's really the law of karma. We never get off that rat way rat race. We never get off that hamster wheel. We stay in the same thinking pattern. We think about the same negative thing over and over and over and over and over. I mean, it's just like it's a simple way to explain it. It's like if something happened to us negative 20 years ago, and I know we all know somebody like this. Either we do it or we know somebody, is that if something happened to them 20 years ago, they're still talking about it today. You know what I mean? And if they tell their story about it, they still tell the story with such emotion like it happened yesterday. And I remember like I would just run into acquaintances. They'd be telling me a story, and I would swear, and I would even say, like, did this happen yesterday? Did this just recently happen to you? And they were like, oh, no, 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 this happened like 10 years ago. And I'm just like, holy crap, I thought it happened like yesterday to you. You were saying it with such emotion. But that's kind of like the law of karma. Is like something happened to us, and we have that emotion is still there. That was there like 10 years ago. I mean, let the dead bury the dead. Let the past, like that's what it means. Let the dead bury the dead. The past is the past. Forget about it. Boom, close the door on it. That's it, and move on from it. But instead, we stay in that negative cycle, and we let that negative cycle affect our future. We let that negative cycle affect what we want, what we're trying to manifest. And I've talked for a long time, like 41 minutes. And I wanted this to be a short video, but I couldn't really sleep. So, but anyway, let's wrap this up. But I just want to have like a little talk. Like when we talk about things not working, it's, we can, I can make a video of 50 things why things are not working, and you got to figure out. You're not doing all the 50 things. Okay, I'm not doing all the 50 things, but there's certain ones in there that's going to resonate with you. It's like, aha, I do that, or I do this, or I do this, or maybe you do 5 of them, and you do 5 of them like you're a master of them. You know what I mean? And you have to try to not be a master of it, because it's working for you in reverse. That you're working for you where you don't want it to work. Um, but in general, if things aren't working, you kind of have to do a self-diagnosis for yourself. Like, what am I doing? Okay, am I thinking wrong about this? Or, that's really the basics to this. Is the simple thing with it is I'm doing something, and it's my job to figure out what it is I'm doing. And once you figure that out, it will make manifesting a little bit easier. And you're fine, just like what I said, you're fine where, different intentions, different things you want. When you get one thing, you move on to another intention. That might bring up a different type of core belief in you. Sometimes you can manifest easy, sometimes it's difficult, and you're fine that, because it's bringing up different core beliefs that you have. It's conflicting. That's pretty much what's happening. It's bringing up confliction, and it'll be kind of a new raw emotion, a new raw feeling, a new raw emotion, a new raw feeling that you're having, and you have to try to figure out what's going on. But other than that, my friends, just want to share that. I might just throw up this video and not even edit it. I'm kind of in that mood. But anyway, blessings to you. Hang in there. Comment below if you made it this far, and let me know how it's working for you. We're all in it together. So what my bad habits are, might be your strengths. Okay, what my strengths are might be your bad habits. So we all can help each other. I might be farther along a little bit, but that's just because I do all these exercises, and I do all the Neville Goddard stuff, and it's always a self-diagnosis of myself, and trying to get myself better, of course. But other than that, blessings to you. Hang in there. Don't give up. And I'll see you in the next video.